Right guys, welcome back to another video, and today let's talk about some football. So today basically I'm doing my Premier League predictions game week 6. I'm basically just going to be talking about each game individually, and we're going to go through each one and explain my reasoning for each one and why I picked it. I haven't done a reaction to this week's Premier League games, mainly because there wasn't enough time. Obviously midweek games is a bit hard to fit everything in. So I thought today what I'd do is I'd get a Premier League predictions video out, and then we can go through, talk about it and see what happens there. But that's enough talking. Let's get into the video and let's talk about it. So the first game being the Merseyside derby at Everton this time. So obviously that's Everton versus Liverpool, which is a big game obviously for both teams. Realistically, Everton need points. I don't think they're going to get it. I think in this one it's going to be 2-0 to Liverpool. I don't know. I just think Liverpool have a bit too much for Everton, and they just haven't really seemed to be performing that well. Like I said previously, Everton, I do not expect them to stay up this season, although there are a lot of changes which I'd make for that Premier League predictions video. Everton aren't as bad as I thought they were, and they've made some really good signings, to be fair to them, that could really help them keep them up, except for someone that's going to score them goals, which is an issue for me. But I really do think they need someone that's going to score those goals for them in situations like when they're playing lower half teams, how they're going to break down teams, how they're going to score the goals, those sort of situations. But I just feel Liverpool have a bit too much for them there. They always kind of perform against Everton usually anyway, so I realised that it's going to be probably a 2-0. Hopefully Mo Salah gets a goal or two and performs well for my fantasy league, which has been going horrible, by the way. Horrible. Moving on to Brentford versus Leeds. I've gone for 2-1 Leeds. Leeds have really surprised me, and I'm really impressed with how they've performed so far. I really like what Leeds are doing and what Jesse March is doing as well, actually. The players that they brought in are seeming to perform instantly, which obviously was a question mark around the players coming into the league. But overall, I think the team is a lot better than people thought it was and is performing at a high level. So I've gone for 2-1 versus Brentford. Brentford have really disappointed me in the past couple of weeks. They played really well against teams like Leicester, which isn't a big thing. Obviously, Leicester being one of the poorest teams in the league on form right now. But them playing even really well against Manchester United, that 4-0 win really gave me the confidence to say they were going to go on a bit of a run here, and they could even stay up, because obviously second season syndrome is a thing. But Brentford, I just see losing 2-1 to Leeds. I do think Leeds are quite good. I feel as if Leeds are just going to be able to score more goals, even though that weird signing of Daniel James going, which was just a bit weird, because I thought that's who they wanted for like 2 years. They got him and then they've just let him go, which is really weird, but at least they've got someone there. Moving on to Chelsea versus West Ham. I think Chelsea are going to win this 2-1, although I was very tempted to go for a 2-2 or even a 1-1, because Chelsea obviously haven't been performing, but I feel as if the new signings of Aubameyang, who probably will come straight in and start, although Willie, he might not, we'll see what happens. It's obviously tomorrow, so we'll see if he plays or not, but if he comes in, that's a really good move for them. You've obviously got players coming in. Raheem Sterling's come in, who's obviously given them a boost. They've brought in a lot of really good players, and it should really help them improve in the Premier League. Obviously, West Ham have had a decent transfer window as well, I would say. But I wouldn't say West Ham's transfer business has been bad by any means. Let me say that. It has been quite good, in my opinion. And I do appreciate West Ham have been good over the past couple of games. But at the same time, Chelsea just have more quality, and that's the reason why I've gone for Chelsea winning this game specifically. Moving on to the next game, which is Newcastle versus Palace. Newcastle are going to win this 2-1 in my opinion. Another 2-1. I just think Newcastle are going to have a lot. They have a really good goalkeeper in Pope. They've got a really good team around them. Isaac is doing really well already, and I think he's going to score some goals. It's just, I don't know. I just think Palace are a good team as well, and I feel like Wilfried Zaha and the team around him is going to score at least one. They are a good team, and they are not a pushover that they used to be, where they'd be easy points for teams and you just expect to go there and win, or expect them to come to you and win. But they are a good team, and I just feel as if, though, Newcastle have a lot more momentum. Being as their first loss was last week, they were unbeaten previously before the midweek game, which was kind of interesting. But I just feel as if Palace are not going to have the amount of talent which Newcastle do. Moving on to Forest versus Bournemouth. I think Forest are going to win this 3-1. I feel as if Forest have brought in all the new signings. They've done really well in the transfer window if they can all gel together correctly. Very impressive spending all that money. One of the top spenders in the whole of the Premier League, and they really did need that. 3-1 against Bournemouth is not out of the realms of possibility for this team. They are good, and if they will perform individual players as a team, they could easily stay up and easily win this game quite convincingly. Bournemouth are in a bit of a dark place, to be fair. They haven't done especially well in the transfer window, sacked their manager, and yeah, just not looking like a team that's going to come anywhere other than 20th in my opinion. Moving on to Spurs versus Fulham. I think Spurs are going to win this one 3-1 as well. Spurs are really good. Fulham are bad, although I put 3-1. I was going to put 3-0, but I wanted Willian to score a goal, personally. I just think it'd be funny. That's the main reason why I put 3-1. I just want to see Willian score a goal. But yeah, moving on to Wolves versus Southampton. Wolves have really impressed me the past couple of weeks. The way they're playing is a lot better than I expected them to this season without certain players which haven't been performing. I do think, however, that it depends on whether new signings can play as well as people expect them to, but we'll have to see. But I just think Wolves 2-0 Southampton, a Southampton team that have been quite bad recently as well. Moving on to the next game, which is Aston Villa versus Manchester City. Manchester City are going to sweep this, and in my opinion, this is the time when Steven Gerrard is possibly going to get sacked. I know everyone loves him, but it does get to a point where you're losing so many games that you're going to have to sack him at some point, and that is going to be an issue for Aston Villa when they're going to do that. But I just think, Man City are going to run through another team, and I am putting Haaland in my fantasy team. I don't care. He's probably not even going to start this week after doing that, but at the end of the day, they're going to run through them quite easily, and Steven Gerrard could quite easily lose his job here. It's quite likely, especially if they lose that badly to a Man City team that are very dominant at the minute. Moving on to Brighton versus Leicester. Now, this is basically a prediction for me because I just don't want Leicester to get relegated. So I'm saying you got to beat Brighton 1-0. You got to beat Brighton 1-0, and this is just for my own sanity that I need Leicester City to win a game. So that's the main reason why I've put them winning the game. It's just why it doesn't really make sense, I know. Brighton are a really good team, but I just want Leicester to win, and I need them to win something. Get a clean sheet, get Daniel Amati away from the team. Please, I beg. And then finally, Manchester United versus Arsenal. This has 1-1 written all over it, in my opinion. Manchester United playing really well. Arsenal playing really well. Arsenal are not going to keep consistently winning games, so I think they're going to take a draw here and, yeah, stay unbeaten, in my opinion. But that is the end of the video, guys. If you have enjoyed this video, like the video and subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate you for watching. Thank you so much.